is going on, all you lovely people? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michael Hora, and this is A Lovely Penguin, and welcome to the set breakdown of the music video Cheese by Stray Kids. Dang, it was a sick song. I really enjoyed it. Hopefully, you guys got a chance to watch my reaction to it. If you haven't, why haven't you? Go watch it. It's a lot of fun. And then, yeah, there's a lot of really cool set pieces in here, so we're going to talk about those real nice and quick. So, yeah, let's dive right on in. Oh, sub to the channel. Why do I even have to tell you guys? Just sub to the channel. Come on. It costs nothing. Let's go. Okay. Jeez Louise. I like to cheese around too. A little goosey goose, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, first opening shot of the music video is the best set piece that we get to see through this whole thing. Spoiler alert, this is one of the craziest ones that they have. Now, the interesting thing is it's all covered in Post-it notes, right? You think that's basically as simple as it is. It's a room covered in Post-it notes. For the most part, they probably had a set day where they were at a studio. Hopefully there was a set already built and ready to go, and then they just used what was there and just covered it. However, what they had to have done first, or what I would have done first, is I would have coated the whole thing in yellow paper to start. So I'd get like a yellow wallpaper and coat the entire thing, right? Because if you notice, when you're looking at the walls, you can see that the Post-it notes are sticking off of it. However, you don't see anything underneath it besides yellow. So they had to have covered up everything with like some sort of paper, wallpaper or something along that lines. And then they stick on the Post-it notes, which not a hard thing to do. However, it's incredibly time consuming. Consuming. Considering the fact that if you look at a lot of these, a lot of them have writing on it. So that means somebody had to sit there and write a bunch of random little things all over these Post-it notes in order to stick them up onto the wall. Probably wrote Stray Kids a bunch of times. Maybe they wrote Cheese a bunch of times. They could have wrote people's names on it, whatever. It's all secret little notes because you're never going to see any of them that close up to begin with. But if I was going to be doing it, that's how I would do it. I would actually coat it in like a white paper. No, sorry, not a white. A yellow paper. And then do it. Also, like you notice too, like on the lamp and stuff, there's no Post-it notes sticking off of it. So that means it was coated in something yellow to begin with. So like I said, it would be some sort of like a yellow sticker. It could be vinyls and stuff, but I would imagine it would probably be like a wallpaper, just because it's a little bit easier to use sometimes. So either way though, makes for a really cool set piece that they reference throughout the video. Also, I just wanted to show you a little bit of a closer up one where it's funny. You can actually see they literally wrote cheese on some of them. Which also makes sense too, because, you know, if you think about it, it looks like American cheese. When you get it like Kraft singles or whatever, and you get them in those like little square package and you got the plastic and you unwrap it and then you put it on whatever you're eating. And so, I mean, maybe that's why they went with Post-it notes, besides them being sticky. I don't know, double meaning. So the cool thing about this video was that they actually filmed a lot of it on location. I only think that Post-it note room was the only one that they actually shot in a studio. And from the behind the scenes video that we watched in the last video, go watch it, you could see that they're actually at some sort of like an outdoor athletic field that was on top of a big parking garage. They do have those in certain places, especially in more urban areas where there's not really big fields and stuff for people to play on. So they'll set up fields with AstroTurf or whatever up on top of buildings and stuff so that people have room that they can play and run around and, you know, blow off some steam, if you would. So this shot here, literally they just did it outside. You know, all they did was they just set up a backdrop, which most likely would fall under the grips department. And yeah, you just put a white backdrop up. They're using natural lighting, and it's, I mean, it looks good. But yeah, this is an outdoor shot. Again, another outdoor shot. This is, you can actually see the rig that they hung up a background thing on. But I really like how they made it look like they're live on like Instagram or something like that, where you can kind of see people writing comments or whatever. And yeah, for the most part, it's just a couple of props that they brought, which are these seats. Nothing crazy about this one in particular, but it's just the way that the camera angles are and stuff. It makes it a little bit more goofy and a little bit more fun. So really well done. But you can see here again, it's just another shot of him on this chair. They actually have a little ball that goes with it, I guess. And yeah, it's just a fisheye lens, you know. Again, we've talked about this in other videos. When they have a car, typically you would rent one of these cars. You can rent them from different prop houses and stuff that actually own cars that are literally just props. They're not meant for driving around or whatever. You can drive them, of course. They're just made for film, you know. And then also there is the possibility that this is a car that somebody owned and just let them borrow it for the shot. You know, it's hard to tell. Yeah, unless you're there, unless you're part of the team, you wouldn't have any idea. However, it would usually be the art team figuring it out, unless it was somebody from the production renting, or not renting, but borrowing out their car. Sometimes you get paid a little cash bump for using your car as well, but like that would usually come through the producers if it's somebody on the crew that you're using their car. Again, we get another shot of them on a mini bike. Again, it would be kind of, if it literally falls under the same circumstances as the car, could be rented, could be somebody owns that from their company or their crew. Most likely with something like that, being as how specific it is, it probably is something that they rented, but it would run. You could totally drive it, but it would only be for shoots, you know. So this shot is actually another one that's super, super cool. It's kind of a quick shot that happens, but in the behind the scenes video, you actually get to see it from the outside. It's a really, really simple rig that they have set up. It's essentially he's standing on plexiglass. They put a bunch of the confetti that they use as they're running. We'll see that in just a little bit here. They put a bunch of it onto the plexiglass that he's standing on, and he kind of kicks it out of the way with his foot like he's wiping the screen. It gets a really cool like undershot as he's standing tall over the camera. But it's kind of just done like a stage rig would be. There'd be 4 metal legs on all the corners. Those go down to metal plates that are going to hold it in place, make sure the thing's not going anywhere. And then it was tall enough. It looked like it was only like 3 or 4 feet tall, but it's enough that you could fit the camera underneath it, point it upwards, get the shot easy enough. With cameras, the cameraman wouldn't have to be underneath there. They could place it in there and then check it on the monitor to make sure that it's actually angled correctly and that they're actually getting the shot. And then they just lit them up a bunch, but still comes out to be a really, really cool shot. The only bad part is you got to clean up confetti, and confetti is annoying. The toy cars, the mini cars. Oh, amazing. Super funny idea, to be honest, for this video. Really, really cool. Yet again, not a lot of setup here. It's going to be rentals from a prop house that you're going to go to. Or sometimes they'll even go to specialty like toy companies and stuff, and they can either rent or buy those cars from them. For something like this, it wouldn't be too outlandish to think that the guys might want to keep the cars afterwards. So they probably could have just bought them and then they have them, they can own them and keep them. But they're also something you can totally rent. But yeah, there's not much that you actually have to do as the art person, as much as it's just go and pick it up and make sure it gets to set. And then also make sure they're charged so that they actually drive, because those are all batteries, and then you just plug them in, charge them up, make sure they're full batteries so that they can be ridden around. So this is another shot. It's not the best angle to see it, but they really do cut really fast in the video. But this is just them inside of that field area that I was talking about, where you could see the turf behind them. They got a bunch of baseballs, a couple baseball bats, and then it's just really just a couple of quick shots of the guys inside there. They don't really do all that much in the actual field area, but you know, it makes for a cool shot. And yeah, I mean, for that one, again, it's just going to be renting stuff, renting baseball bats, baseballs, all that kind of stuff. Plus, you could see the balls are like a little bit dirty, look a little bit used. So that means they're probably rentals. Unless, again, that's the beauty of working in production and stuff. If you have people that are working on your set that are like baseball enthusiasts, or they're former baseball players, or whatever, people who have a bunch of baseballs and a couple baseball bats, just use those. You don't need to buy. You don't need to rent. Save a little bit of money. Why not? Every music video's got a budget. And a lot of the times they cut it very, very close. So, I mean, anytime you can shave off a little bit of money, it's a good thing. And I know K-pop goes way above and beyond with their music videos, and they're willing to put a lot more money down. But, I mean, hey, anybody can save money. That's all I'm saying. But, yeah, I mean, it's a location thing. It's just bring a couple of props. This music video for the art team, honestly, besides the Post-it note room, pretty simple video. So actually, one thing that I will say, art department would be in control of the rope that our guy, I believe his name's IN, is tied up in here. And it's a nice awkward thing to have to do where our team will come in and they will tie up the talent. And you just do it loose enough that they're not going to be uncomfortable and sore, but there's always going to be a certain level of discomfort when you're tied up to with rope, especially this rope. It's a little bit raggedy, which probably means it's going to be a little bit itchy, but either way, it's just another thing that our department covers. And yeah, it's a pretty simple thing. You can get rope like that from Home Depot, any hardware store, really. You can get rope like that. Also, people were surprised when I say that, like, people shop at Home Depot and like IKEA and Target and stuff. That's, at least on all the stuff I've worked on, that's where we get majority of the things. Anything that's not rented is coming from Home Depot. It's coming from IKEA. It's coming from Target. It's coming from other shops that I'm forgetting the names of. We've done Michael's plenty of times. There's like the World Fair store you can go to that you can get good stuff there. Walmart, whatever, as long as they got what we need, we'll go get it. Yeah. Okay. And then this is one of the last ones, one of the last shots where the art department really has to do something here. And it's kind of funny. You see that there's confetti falling from above, and that's because there's somebody up on this roof right here who's just handful hucking confetti over the wall and running with the guys as they're doing it. And then there are also people right behind the camera who are just throwing it up in the air so that the boys will then run into it as well, and it'll make like a nice full frame confetti rainstorm, if you would. And like I said before, the only bad thing is that you have to clean it up. Ugh. Confetti, it can be such a nightmare. It can be such a nightmare. And I can only imagine doing it out in the world where there's wind. It's going to make it even harder to clean up. It's not that bad. But it's still it's just one of those tedious little tasks that you got to do. You know what I mean? So yeah, guys, that's going to about do it for Stray Kids Cheese music video. It's a really cool video, and another thing that I've said over and over again is just because the art team didn't have that hard of a time making this video doesn't mean it's a bad video. Simple can be very much better, and I think for this video, for the concept that they're going for, they knocked it out of the park. It's fun, it's goofy, it matches the song, and on top of it being kind of silly, it's also cool at the same time, and that's a really hard thing to pull off, and the team did it. On top of it too, the guys really did it. It was a real collaborative effort, but they managed to stay cool while being silly and goofing around a bit as well, and that's a really awesome thing. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to the team, big shout out to the band. We love them. And we love this video. So guys, thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this, make sure you sub to the channel. Check out my Patreon with all the other links down below in the description as well. It's got all my Instagrams and social medias and TikToks and all that good old stuff. Plus, if you guys have a minute, come check me out on Twitch. I stream most days. And then, yeah, we also have our Discord if you want to come hang out and chat with me in person there. Well, not in person, but, a little bit more directly. But yeah, guys, I love you. Have a great week. Stay aggressively positive. Have a good one. Bye.